It's a official propaganda report. Water.
Yeah. If it's official propaganda report water, Ian's drinking.
Propaganda report water.
I had it sent over in a cool, sealed plastic bag.
It's disposable.
Yeah, you can see the before you drink it, you can see the logo in the water. It reflects up. It's what do they call? I don't know, but we had this specially made.
A hydrogram.
It's a hydrogram. Yes, a hydrogram of propaganda report water, and we are live across all platforms now. This is the propaganda report. Kamala's closer, her closing argument: Trump at Madison Square Garden, and the DOD cancels the election day training. And I'm going to be up front today. I might not be my all the way cheery self, even though I do look like an idiot in this, what looks like Loki meets Weird Al Yankovic.
Did you get that from Temu?
Outfit. It looks like a Temu Loki is kind of what it looks like. Yeah. So on the Halloween theme, but my aunt died last week. I have a fractured elbow. There's water leaking into my basement, and I have to take my dog to have surgery next week to have 2 small masses removed that we hope are benign. So while I probably still will be my somewhat stupid, jokey self, I might not be as much so today. Just be upfront. Thank you, Ian, for joining me. Thank you for just accepting that, bummer of news for me to open the show with. But
hey, man. Well, listen, I'm praying for your doggy.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries.
I appreciate that.
And,
you got to hang out with him the other day. You guys became buddies.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
He did. He liked me giving him treats.
He certainly did. He's sitting right back over here in the chair, chilling out. So, all right. Well, we'll dive in now that I got that out of the way. So, Kamala just gave her closing argument speech, which I thought her CNN town hall was going to be her closing argument thing, they said, but this was her closing argument speech. And thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for the nice comments. They had another closing argument speech they had at the same place that Trump gave his speech on January 6th, where they say he ignited the rally, or the insurrection, not the rally. And I'll give you a quick summation of it. Basically, Kamala says Trump is gonna, use the military to go after, citizens who disagree with him, which I think is interesting because later in her speech she says that she's gonna create the most powerful, most lethal military, and Trump just calls them suckers and losers. So according to her logic, Trump is gonna go after American citizens who disagree with him using suckers and losers.
Right.
According to Kamala's argument there. Did you see any of that?
I did. I saw what? Oh no! I just saw the stuff that written. I didn't watch it. I honestly didn't know when it was on.
I thought it was at 9. I was going to stream some of it, but it was at 7:30, and they kept saying that the organizers tell us they had 50,000 people there. They did have a lot of people there. Her main selling point.
This was at the Ellipse.
The Ellipse, yes, the Ellipse, infamous now for the start of the January 6th insurrection.
Yeah, the Ellipse is a high-end strip club.
Right. Yeah. It can start. That's where a lot of insurrections begin.
Yeah.
As you know.
That sounds like.
And she said that if Trump is elected, that in 90 days that he will be in the White House with an enemies list, and if she's elected, she'll be in the White House with a to-do list
of enemies that she needs.
Of enemies. Well, yeah. Putin, Kim Jong-il.
Yeah. Number 1, kill my enemies.
Right. Kill my enemies. Sleep with people who haven't won favor yet. Which I don't know where Doug Emhoff is going to be on that. I'll show you some of the beginning of her speech, and I'm sure you'll notice what I thought was the funniest part, which they did eventually correct, but Kamala tried to ignore.
Jeez. Tim Walz always looks like someone's just about to grab his butthole.
Good evening, America!
This crowd there, you'll hear it in a second, I think.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy lives.
I can't even watch, Brad.
It's hard, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So listen, 1 week from today,
You hear that in the
will
background?
have the chance to make a decision that directly impacts your life, the life of your family.
Somebody's alarm is going off,
That's hilarious.
and it's for like the first probably 10 minutes of this thing. It's going off.
And the future of this country we love.
Yeah, maybe that's why the alarm's going off, Sir Jack, is somebody's running, and they don't want people leaving the ellipse.
Yeah, I just can't. I think they're purposely putting her up there
And
so
it
we
will
stop paying
probably
attention to what they're
be
doing.
the most
Yeah, I'm not going to play much of it. I'm just going to give you the
It's
first minute because
hard.
it is tough. It's tough to listen to her. It
It's
really
tough,
is.
man. It takes a
She's-
lot out of me. If I really feel like energy right from my heart is pouring out into the computer screen right now. Lost forever. I'm just losing life force.
I wonder if that's how
listening to her.
people feel. So I don't think people feel like they're losing life force listening to Trump, that hate Trump. I think
No.
they feel enraged,
I feel like I'm. I feel
What were
like
you
I'm
gonna say?
gaining life force.
gaining life. Well, I'm talking about
gain
people who
life force
dislike Trump.
Yeah, the people who dislike
Yeah.
Trump. No. They just fill with rage. They
But
get bumped.
maybe
They
it
get-
is a demoralization thing with her because it's just she's not someone who.
Yeah. The people
it's-
who need a mommy or a daddy love her, right?
Even though
They-
she's
they-
not raised two children
Yeah,
like
but
she
she's
claims
promising
to.
to be mommy president.
But I think she starts right here where she says that main lie about the threat from within.
important vote you ever cast.
They always say that.
And this election is more than just a choice between two parties
I love that siren.
and two different candidates. It is a choice about whether we have a country rooted in freedom for every American
They're going to try to not
or
certify this election.
ruled by
if he
chaos
wins.
and
Maybe.
division.
Yep.
They're going to say he's illegitimate and that those votes don't count. I swear they're going to try something that fucking
Yeah.
bananas.
Many of
Yeah.
you watching
Absolutely.
have probably already cast your ballots.
Yep.
You see how the
Yeah.
siren's still going?
But I know many others are still considering who to vote for.
No, they're
Or
not.
whether
No, they're
you'll
not.
vote at all.
Maybe
So
the people who
tonight,
might
I
not
will
vote at
I
all.
love that
speak to
alarm.
everyone about the choice and the stakes in this
Because
election.
you know she can hear it.
Look, we know who Donald Trump is.
Yep.
He is the person who stood at this
He's funny
very
Hitler.
spot nearly 4 years ago and sent an armed mob to the United
Yeah, right.
States Capitol to overturn the will of the people in a free and fair election.
All right, then she goes on to say,
Did she say sent an
Armed.
armed mob?
yeah, it's an armed mob, and then she goes on to talk about how all these people died, and then
Yeah.
she goes on to say Trump
They had
promised
two
to go
arms.
after citizens.
Yeah. They were a
If-
legged mob too. Sorry.
Right. No, that's. I just wanted to get. I mean, this was the basic theme of the entire speech. It was launched off by just a series of things that aren't true, that nobody in the media, fact checks these. Of course, I want now. Rachel Maddow had a response to it. I wanted to see if we could find.
It feels, Brett, it feels to me like it's either desperation and they know they're losing, or they don't fucking care anymore and they're about to just take the veil off and just, exact iron control over all of us. And that's why they don't. That's why they're just like, fuck it. We don't care if you see that we're gaslighting you.
Yeah, it's. I don't know what's going to happen. They've
It's
definitely made
weird.
it apparent that they're gaslighting, and they've definitely been able to identify those. I would say on either side of the most extreme, who are immune to gaslighting, but especially coming from the media. And I mean, the stuff that she just said is just so
Crazy.
provably untrue. And then she goes on to say these other things about the enemy within, and he's going to go after civilians who disagree with him, which if you didn't know that wasn't true by hearing it, I showed very clearly that the comments they conflated together were taken from two separate interviews, and Trump, when he talked about the military, was actually talking about what Biden should probably have ready in
Yes.
case there was problems
Yes.
on election day. He's talking about
Yes.
what Biden could do on election
Yes.
day is what he was talking about, and they conflated
right.
that to mean stuff that was completely different. Now, Let me see if Matt out. Okay, so let's just watch. I haven't seen any of this. I just heard.
Joining me now, Rachel.
Brian Stelter talking about Maddow, and Maddow is always good for entertainment purposes. Oh yeah, which is strange. It's actually Rachel Maddow introducing Rachel Maddow here.
On our show, Joy Reid, host of The Readout on MSNBC. We were
notice how they never wear their
before the
glasses on the
speech, and
same
we got
event.
to see it.
Right. Yeah. So they don't.
This is a damn good speech. This strikes me as essentially the bookend to her Democratic National Convention speech.
It's basically
her acceptance of the Democratic Party's nomination hit some of these same lines, but she knew she was speaking to the Democratic Party and to those who had elevated her within that party. Tonight, she was speaking to the whole country. She overtly asked for people's vote. She overtly reintroduced herself to the country. She said, I know a lot of
What
people
is this
say they don't know
reintroduction?
That's what she said. She said during her speech, she goes, I'm aware that some of you are still getting to know who I am. And even though after she had spent 4 years in the White House, she said that. And she also said, even though I spent 4 years in the White House, I spent most of my career outside of Washington prosecuting people, even though she was a senator before she became vice president.
Maybe she'll just continue to be the prosecutor president and actually go into court and prosecute bad guys.
They should make her just like they should make Tim Walz catch a football and throw a spiral. They should make Kamala Harris go prosecute a case before we continue this facade. Like like he knows anything about football and she's actually a prosecutor.
Enough about me. I'm paraphrasing, but she talked about her upbringing. She talked about having worked most of her career outside of Washington, and she ended with a big. Presidential flourish, a big presidential vision, nearly 250.
Look, they're all looking down at the notes at what she's supposed to say next. All three of them are. Yes, that's funny. Yeah. So you know what that was going to be. Rachel Maddow, who was the voiceover for the opening of the Batwoman show. She's an actress, just like many of these people are actors. So that's the story.
She was the voiceover for the Batwoman show?
Yeah, the Batwoman show. It would start off with the local
one on WB that you were
radio
watching?
host, or the CW, and it would be like, Gotham. We've had 3 robberies in the past 3 nights. Everybody in Gotham is wanting to know, where is Batwoman? And that voice, which they did that at the beginning of every episode that I saw, it's Rachel Maddow that played that voice.
And that is a problem. That is a real problem when I think it adds to the credibility issue when they allow themselves to play these parts in TV shows and movies.
Right. Yep.
But
people didn't even know about hers. That one was just like, with Stacey Abrams, they made a big to-do about how she's going to play president of the world.
Of the universe or queen of the universe.
Yeah, in Star Trek Discovery. Which I thought Rachel Maddow's acting chops are far better than Stacey Abrams.
Well, it's a genre of acting, just like a sitcom or the different types of films. Delivering the news and politics as well. These are just now genres of acting.
Right. Yes, exactly. And to see it that way, it for me, almost to watch it like it's a comedy or a parody.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It is. It becomes funny to watch instead of enraging if you view it as people being serious, You
have to laugh at it.
Yeah. And so, of course, the AJ says that, remember, VP is the only candidate that has prosecuted transnational gangs to the relief of CIA national.
Cisnational.
Cisnational.
Yeah,
okay, sorry, CIA. My screen's a little small there. To the relief of cisnational gangs. Yes, of course. Yes. So, obviously, you probably heard about the Trump. Well, before we go to the Trump rally, which was fuel for this and fuel for ads, the debate about whether Kamala was going to go on Joe Rogan's show. Joe Rogan posted to his X account that the Harris campaign or team said that they would do an interview with him if he came to wherever, I don't know where, if he came to them and the interview was only limited to 1 hour. And Rogan said no. And of course, that's led to a bunch of chatter on social media saying, "Once you have the balls, Rogan, don't you expect you're going to ask her to come to you on the last week of the campaign?"
Yes. Yeah, Trump did.
I mean, right? It's especially with the exposure that he gets. It's all kind of a cop out because Trump did the same thing. The reason that Trump and Rogan hadn't done an interview before is because previously Trump was going to require Rogan to come to Mar-a-Lago, which Rogan wouldn't do. So Rogan is applying the same standards to Harris as Trump, the way that it appears to me.
Yeah, no, I agree, but they don't equate themselves as. She doesn't see him as an equal, as a peer.
Well, that and she 3 hours is long for her.
Absolutely, she would fall apart.
She doesn't seem to do friendly or potentially. I don't want to say hostile because I don't even know that he'd be hostile, but anybody who's not friendly, even on Fox News, like a lot of people see the Bret Baier interview as something that was contentious. I see the way Bret Baier handled that and the way I see that as it benefited her and Fox News the most because it enabled them to conflate Trump's statements in response to one question, which he was talking about Biden and the military, together. That's what solidified that whole narrative was that interview, which has been, and Bret Baier and Fox News knew exactly what they were doing, the way they edited those clips, and they doubled down on it the next day because they want the division. They need it. They need it for ratings. It gave them the opportunity to pretend like they're pushing back, and even if Kamala wasn't aware of it, because I feel like Fox News actually kind of pulled the wool over both Kamala and Trump's eyes with separate interviews they did with them because they showed them out of context clips. And I don't know how much these guys are up to date on every single thing that happens. I know they pretend to, but I don't think that. I think you could tell them they're about to watch something, and unless they are going around and doing speeches all the time and campaigning all day, and also staying up to date on the news, and which they can't really do. They're gonna have to trust the people who tell them stuff. So I feel like they could have been bamboozled in that situation, but I just don't. I think it's too unpredictable. I guess is my point with Rogan, but who knows? Maybe she'll end up doing it.
She won't. She can't do anything that's unpredictable. She won't do it.
What's up,
they won't
Grumpy?
do it, and they'll spin it as
Joe Rogan's a pussy is kind of how they're trying to spin it. He doesn't have the balls to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
It's really stupid.
So the fuel that they were given, which I'm sure we talked about before the show, was Tony. Is it Hinchcliffe? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Tony Hinchcliffe. Might as well be Tony Lynchcliffe. I might as well start calling him that.
Yeah.
After the way they're framing it, because of the Puerto Rico. It wasn't even. He made it. He was an opener at Madison Square Garden for Trump's rally, and you guys, I'm sure, have seen it now. He's the host of Kill Tony. He's a roast comic.
Yeah.
He's the guy who did awesome during the Tom Brady roast, and the joke that he made that they're using. Which I'm surprised is this one that they're focused on. But
it bombed. Nobody laughed at it. That's the other thing.
It wasn't his crowd. This was in the morning.
Absolutely,
to a bunch
but
of,
also his point. Their point is moot because they're saying, "Oh, look, this is the type of thing that they find funny." Nobody laughed.
Right, and they act like he tells this joke. There's a heaping pile of trash floating around. The ocean is called Puerto Rico. That's the joke.
And I told you,
we're going to lose all the Puerto Ricans.
Yeah, just give me a break. My Puerto Rican friend said, "Yeah, that's exactly." He goes, "That's true," and it's liberals that made it that way.
And that is whether he intended to or not. I think for Tony, he's going to go up there at that opportunity, knowing that if he just does the same type of stuff he always does, they're going to kind of cancel him, which is just going to make him bigger. So it was kind of a lose or win-win situation for him, in my opinion, where the story ended up being about him, which is going to drive more attention to him. I think he did another show the next day, like an emergency show.
Well, you saw that he responded to Tim Waltz.
Tim Waltz, yeah. Tim Waltz and AOC
were tampon.
They were playing Madden on AOC stream, where she usually does the what's it called, where you eat where hot chicks eat food
ASMR.
into the microphone. Yeah,
ASMR.
where she usually does ASMR while eating popcorn.
Start doing that
and showing off her feet. Yeah, they decided to play Madden, right, with Tim Walz, and they stopped to comment on the joke, but it's obvious it's going to have very little impact at all to me, except make Tony's show bigger, Kill Tony.
Yeah, and the only thing it's proving is that once again, like the only like even Jon Stewart.
This is what I was going to play. Yeah, here's what Jon Stewart said.
Great.
So did you see this clip? I guess
I did, but yes, play it.
So because that's the you wonder here, does Jon Stewart lean towards his
this is one
liberal
listen,
side or his comedian side? On
he
this?
was a wonderful man to work for. He was a wonderful man.
Look at you, dude.
He was. He really was. He was a very sweet guy to work for.
But of course, for the media, there was one moment in particular that raised the alarms.
The opening act, grabbing headlines for all the wrong reasons. A comedian who offered unfunny, racist, cringeworthy jokes.
Basically calling Puerto Ricans trash. The most repulsive racial jokes about Latinos.
I did pause it there. They showed Melania. Melania came out to take me down to Paradise City.
That's great.
Guns N' Roses
So,
to do her speech, by the way. Which
what's
was awesome.
hilarious about all this is when I was 10, 12 years old, you could go into any bookstore in the country, in the mall, in the airport, and you could find a series of books called Truly Tasteless Joke Books by Blanche Knott. And
yeah.
There were like 20 of these things. These were filled with the most racist, hilarious jokes, because what's the big fucking deal? Really, come on.
Right, and that's what Kill Tony is people go up and do they do roast jokes, and they cover the gamut. They make fun of everybody.
When I worked in restaurants, this is what I loved about restaurants is maybe it's changed, but there was no HR reporting working in a restaurant. Everybody told each other.
Yeah, they'd be like, you've been sent to HR because you've been selling cocaine in the kitchen again.
And you didn't sell it to me.
Right.
No, I would lean to one of my Korean buddies there. I would lean over to him and I'd say, Eddie, it's a human race and white people are winning.
Yeah.
And these are stupid jokes. Terrible jokes. I don't mean that. I don't want a world
you can't say that if you're ever opening for Trump and there's an Asian person.
You can't say that if you're opening for Trump, apparently.
You can't say that. Yeah, but I mean, all these people, I don't believe that any of them are truly as upset as they're pretending to be. Going back to the acting we talked about, they do not care about any of these jokes. Seriously, they just want their
ears. I'm sorry, I'm wearing a bandage on my ear this morning because of what I had to listen to last night.
Yeah, I'm bleeding harder than the Trump Pennsylvania rally. Trump after the Pennsylvania rally because of this joke. It's so painful to my ears. None of them believe that. They just want their audience to think that it's the correct position to believe this.
Disgusting and hateful.
So incredibly crude. Frankly, just too X-rated to play here.
Too X-rated. Too X-rated.
X-rated.
Yeah,
Frankly,
So
too X-rated.
What was X-rated about it?
Well, he took
I would
his
like to
dick
know.
out.
He was masturbating while he was telling the joke.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Extremely vile.
But the reason they tell you that is because they want their audience to think about what it would be. Because if they actually hear it, they might go, "Oh, that's not so bad." So we're just going to tell you it's so X-rated.
This is like
political thespian, says Groby. Yeah.
I remember being a kid, and this is how the right was reacting to Eddie Murphy, to Andrew Dice Clay, to Two Live Crew.
They need Dice Clay to open up for Trump on his last speech.
This is how it was so fucking funny. The shift that's happening right now.
All right, dude, to have Dice Clay come out and just start talking about, because he'll talk about women's breasts and dicks. That's what he'll do if he starts doing crowd work. It'd be great.
Little boy Blue, he needed the money.
little Kamala Blue.
So-called jokes.
Extremely vile so-called jokes. She name-checked my comedy album from the 90s.
It's a good joke.
Did I really? I don't know who's AI, me or that guy. Now, obviously, in retrospect, having a roast comedian come to a political rally a week before Election Day and roasting a key voting demographic, probably not the best decision by the campaign politically. But to be fair, the guy's really just doing what he does. I mean, here he is at the Tom Brady roast a few months ago.
The great Jeff Ross, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff is so Jewish, he only watches football for the coin toss. Gronk, you look like the Nazi that kept burning himself on the ovens. Kevin is so small that when his ancestors picked cotton, they called it deadlifting.
Yes, of course. Terrible. Boo. Yes. There's something wrong with me. I find that guy very funny. So, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, bringing him to a rally and have him not do roast jokes, that'd be like bringing Beyonce to a rally and not have...
Funny.
That's good. That's a
good
good
one.
joke. So I don't know. Actually, don't know what he said the rest of the 13 minutes, but
Yeah, it's a good one.
I might watch it later. But yeah, it's good to see Jon Stewart at least go, defend his comedy side as opposed to the
Sure.
shilling for a candidate side.
I
That it
agree.
makes any impact other than give them just another
This is dumb.
story to
This
you know.
is so dumb. This is nothing's going to happen. These are right now are stories to keep her base energized.
It's just stories
That's
to fit into this narrative of authoritarian Hitler. Here's
Yep.
another example.
It's not changing anybody's mind. It's just making sure. The most ridiculous. Sorry, real quick. The most ridiculous, like, get out the vote ad I've heard.
That's what it is. Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
Yeah.
but the one that I've heard, this get out the vote ad, is it's two women talking, and one says to the other, "Great, that was fun lunch. Hey, so we're gonna do this again next Tuesday, November 5th?" And she goes, "Oh no, I can't. That's election day. I'm gonna be hanging out with my mom." Election day, your mom? Yeah, we make a day of it. We go get lunch, and then we vote, and then whatever, we hang out. Oh, can I join you? Yeah, girl. Who? First of all, height of privilege. If you can plan on having
Make a plan.
make
That's
a
what they
plan,
say. They say
have
make
a whole
plan
day off
to
and,
elect.
and just eat
to
lunch.
vote.
Yeah, have a long lunch. Go vote. Yeah, that's privilege.
Yeah. And so what did Kamala say? I don't have the clip, but they played it on CNN earlier. She was on the Breakfast Club with.
I
is
love
that?
it. I got it. This one's blazed in my head. They
Yeah.
said to her, "So what do you say to that part of the electorate that says you're too scripted?" She says, "You're welcome."
Yes. She said that.
You're welcome. They want someone who's disciplined.
Yeah. I'm talking about what she said. I think
oh.
it was today when she was asked about the Trump getting a lot more black men to vote for him.
Oh no, I
this
didn't
time
hear
around.
this.
And she started off by saying, "The brothers ain't saying that." She coached with the brothers ain't saying that. The black men. And so the first time CNN played it, they played the full thing where she said, "The brothers ain't saying that." Then they cut that part out and they just said, "The black men at my rallies are telling me not to listen to none of that." And it's just like the way that she says that, it was so inauthentic. The brothers, it's like that's why the black men aren't voting for you. Probably
one of
They
my
don't believe
favorites
you.
was she says, "You better thank a union member."
Yeah.
You better thank you. And then she said, "Who's gonna vote for me in 2024?"
If anything else, say whatever.
so
If
funny.
Trump accomplished anything in his time, maybe it's that he helped show how how cringe code switching is.
He's
Because you don't see him doing that.
Yeah. Oh well,
not
no,
really.
You do. You do when he was talking to that group of black guys that started this whole thing. He's like, this is basically. He was like, this is a sister that went to, this is a sister that went to the same college as you. I sound a little
Wait,
bit
Trump
like,
Trump was. You sound like Obama right there.
That was sorry. That was.
Oh, did I say
No,
Obama?
Tr-
yeah, Obama
I-
definitely does that.
Yeah, Trump
yeah.
does not. Trump does not code.
Yeah,
switch.
no, yeah. So that's what I'm saying is like when you see Trump, because Trump is just Trump when he, at least with his cadence.
No, God.
And Hillary and Kamala and Obama, Obama can pull it off a lot better.
They talk about the way politicians, the way liberal politicians talk about black men. They talk about like black men like they're this mysterious, magical, animal that they have to attract over and woo.
And
No.
trick, really.
Do you know what black men are just men who like the things that men like, and one thing that a lot of men like is authenticity.
Yeah.
Right? They don't like bullshit.
Right.
Right? And so that's why he's appealing. He's appealing to them as men. Fuck the black modifier.
Right. No, that's. I think that's right. And they had this rally in DeKalb where they brought out Samuel Jackson. They brought Usher to one rally in Georgia. They had Beyonce. I think that stuff. It feels like it's probably coming off more as insulting because I think people are tired of being told to vote for the favorite Hollywood actor or performer. I don't know what's going to happen, man. Next week, like I've said, I think if never mind the selection process to get there. There's a lot of argument about how real any of that is. I mean, we saw that especially how Kamala got put in, when they got Biden out of there. But I don't think there's any chance that Kamala would win if they just counted the votes on Election Day. But I go back and forth on whether they will steal it or whether they have other plans that they want to spend and use if Trump wins.
Yeah. It's gonna get it's.
Maybe Chase Oliver will win.
Maybe.
Groby says, "Well said, Ian."
Oh well, thank you.
What if Chase Oliver got like 10% just out of nowhere? That was really with a silent vote, the Libertarian candidate.
Yeah. The silent vote is like my Venezuelan barber, Andres, who he says that Biden's an idiot. And that the reason why Venezuela's in the situation it's in right now is because of Biden's policies.
Yeah. You notice the silent vote narrative. So it was the narrative that there were a lot of people for Trump who didn't tell people but are going to vote for Trump, and that showed up in the polls. That was where the silent vote was because they didn't want to be ostracized. Now they're trying to flip that on the other side to where they're doing these ads where it's women saying, you don't have to tell your husband who you're voting for or your dad. You can vote for Kamala, and you don't have to tell them. They're trying to make it seem like there's a silent vote for Kamala coming. They just use each other's
or like men would be beating their women
because they're MAGA, obviously, especially if they're Puerto Rican and they have a non-Puerto Rican.
She comes home. She puts the groceries down.
Who'd you vote for?
Yeah, and he's just sitting there in his easy chair with the mega caps.
I looked at your research history on the laptop. Who'd you vote for?
Who'd you vote for?
You watched 3 Kamala ads telling you didn't have to tell me shit.
Yeah. Well, guess what? You've been found out. No more abortions for you.
Jill Stein.
How do I feel about it?
Jill Stein, I haven't followed her much. So Jill Stein is, in the past, she's one who
I don't know anything about her, to be honest with you, other than she's always on there.
She's the Green Party.
Right.
So Jill Stein's anti-war, which I'm anti-war.
That's
so
positive.
I agree with her on that. I don't know what other position she's putting forward this time. I know that in the past there's been the anti-war position I've always agreed with, and there's been a few other things that I didn't disagree with.
Yeah, I need to know what her economic position is.
I have no idea.
You know what I mean?
Do you know what her economic position is? World records. Let's see here. Okay, so you brought up ads. I was going to wait to end the show with ads, but here's one. No, it's good.
I feel like I do this to you too much.
No, this is perfect. It's a good segue if I have it ready.
Good. All right.
So to start off, this looks
Ridgeway.
exactly like a friend of ours. This person in this
Ridgeway.
commercial.
That looks like Ridgeway.
Maybe I was going to say Kellen.
Oh yeah, that looks like Kellen.
But it looks like maybe a Kellen
I just
Ridgeway.
haven't seen him in so long.
Have you seen this commercial?
No. Is he baiting? Is he masturbating?
Yes, that's what he's doing. The guy's looking at. I'll play it. This is apparently an ad for Kamala.
No, it's not.
Oh! Sorry, you can't do that.
What the hell, man? How'd you get in here?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're banning porn nationwide.
You can't tell me what to do. Get out of my bedroom, you creep.
I won the last election, so it's my decision. I'm just gonna watch and make sure you don't finish illegally.
So he should have reached under those covers and grabbed that guy's Johnson and wiggled it around.
He should have finished for him.
Give me that. Go ahead.
And he looks like he's kind of sitting on it. It says it's paid for by the Progressive Action Fund. And they've actually done, I think the same fund, did a similar commercial where it was a man and a woman having sex, and there might have even been the same old guy who popped into the room. So
I wish I had $1 billion, Brad, because this is what I would do.
That's a hilarious ad.
It's a great ad, but this can't really be. Is this really? Why are they wasting their time with this? Trump is not going to ban porn. That's not what any of this says. You know?
Right. I don't see a porn ban happening.
There's
Maybe it'll be like abortion.
no porn
you
ban
can go to
happening.
you can cross the border and jerk off to porn.
And honestly, it's interesting because it forces them into a position. I'm not saying that porn should be illegal, but it's not really defensible, is it? I mean, is it really something you want to get behind? Is defending porn the hill you want to die on? Again, I don't think it should be
it's
outlawed.
like, so who are they going after? Is somebody on the fence? Maybe there's people who aren't voting who they said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stay home and masturbate to porn all day. And what the Democrats are saying is, not if Trump wins, you won't be doing that next year.
Yeah.
Because, this guy's going to come in and take a, that's one we should have brought up. I didn't even think to bring that one up about Project 2025 is going to ban porn. That would have been a fun question to ask all those people we talked to at that rally. Denver says, difficult to know what will happen. It comes down to motive. Do they want to preserve the current status quo a bit longer in a system that's lost their trust? Trump and the ratchet effect are that ticket. They would rebuild some of the trust in those institutions if Trump wins. My whole thing has just been if Trump wins and people who have been fighting for election transparency and election integrity, if they maintain their same vigilance, because there's never, I think, probably never before ever been so much interest and focus on election integrity and what the rules and processes is on elections. And that's something that people who would like to have elections that are easy to rig, they probably don't like that. And Trump winning might lessen some of that watchdog effect. As long as people maintain that high watchdog effect, I think that's what people should keep in mind. Just because your candidate might win doesn't mean the system is not broken in many, many ways, I guess would be my message there.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so another ad here. This is right after the Tony Hinch. I haven't seen. I just saw this pop up like a little bit ago. This is how quickly they turn around these ads.
Oh, they're so good at it. They really are. Both.
I mean, that's a
both
job
sides.
right there. Is to be an editor who can turn around a
sides.
solid ad. Let's see.
What were the two families in Godfather? The Corleones and the Titellis? Was that their name? The
Titellis, the Corleones and
Monica
did
not. And Monica.
No, I don't know. You talking about like in The Godfather?
Yeah, no. A friend of mine made a good point, which I agree with. He's like, both of these parties are just like, the Corleones and the Titellis. He goes, it's just one is going to do a better job than the other. And
right, yeah.
And I kind of agree with that.
Right.
Oh, this is true. The jail flag burners ones gets my eyebrows.
Right. So too. Grumpy says
I
it's
always
what
raise my eyebrows, and I'm like,
it's what their base wants to hear, just like Trump's base wants to hear jail flag burners. And that's the thing. People cheer to that, but I don't know that people do want to hear that. That's
no. I don't like that when he says that. I got to be honest.
Does he say that frequently, or was that a trial balloon? He said it before, I think.
He said it. I don't hear him say it often, but I did hear him really emphasize it. He really emphasized it and said, "No, I think that people who go to these rallies, if they're burning a flag at the rally, and all of a sudden my Trump is Jewish. I can't do that right now. If they're burning a flag at the rally, then they're gonna get arrested. But I just think." They should just get punched in the face. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, right. Well, to me, it's like people want to burn a flag. That's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, burn flag.
If they bought it, their flag, they're allowed to.
Right,
burn
but
it.
get ready. You got to don't sit there and burn the flag unless you're ready. Unless you're ready to have your flag burned back. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and that's perfectly fine too.
Yeah, exactly. But the outcry, if I went into the middle of the street, right, and filmed myself burning the pride flag.
What street are you on?
Like,
Are
if
you
I went
are
to-
you
if I
on
went
the
to-
Pride
if I went to the
crosswalk
gayest-
in
If I
downtown
went to
Atlanta?
the gayest crosswalk in Atlanta,
Yeah,
if I went to the gayest crosswalk in Atlanta, it's easy to find.
10th Street in Piedmont.
Exactly, super easy to find. If I stood out there and burned a pride flag, what? Think of the outcry. Maybe I should. I mean, I could. Really
The media
use
would be like,
boost.
Trump opened his latest rally by having a man on the street burn a pride flag at the intersection of Piedmont.
I like,
and
10th
Speaker Street.
Tony Hinchcliffe.
It's Tony Hinchcliffe
That's what
burning
he-
the pride flag. Yeah.
No, I like it when Biden, when he was calling, and he said he refers to Tony Hinchcliffe as, there was a speaker at the Trump rally. It's like, there's a comedian, a comic.
Everybody's
not
calling him a speaker. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what did he say? He said that he said that
Biden
you
said
told
all
me
Trump
something before the
supporters
show.
Yeah, he said that the only garbage I see floating out there are Trump supporters.
Right. Yeah. So that's definitely, that gives fuel to the other side. Totally. Thank you, Jake. Jake said this show's so
Yeah.
much better than anything I could be watching on my Delta flight right now. I appreciate that and hope you have a safe flight with Delta and good in-flight food. I haven't flown in a while, so I don't know how the food is there. And thank you, Lizzie. That's very kind. We hope that they are benign and everything will be okay. Now, here's the ad that the Harris campaign released right after. The lower third here says, Trump campaign faces fallout after racist remarks about Puerto Rico at MSG rally.
And Monica, let's bring you in here. The Harris campaign did not waste any time responding to those comments about Puerto Ricans. Tell us more.
Yeah, exactly, Savannah and Joe. They seized on those comments by launching a new digital ad that specifically is going to target Latino voters in the battleground states. You mentioned Pennsylvania, where there is certainly a sizable population, but there are also tens of thousands of Puerto Ricans living in states like North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, and Nevada. So this is really a moment where the Harris campaign.
Puerto Ricans.
No, they're showing images
They're
of
not
her
showing
with black
any
people
Puerto Ricans.
instead of with Puerto Ricans.
Thinks that this is an opening to also trying to remind
wait a
voters
minute. They don't have
of
any
how
photos of
Donald
her
Trump
with Puerto
acted
Ricans,
when
huh?
he was in office.
She
when
needs to go to
Hurricane
Puerto Rico
Maria
right now.
devastated the
Yeah.
island in 2017, and they're getting at that
thought they were
in
gonna
this
show- oh, here's the
new
ad, yeah.
advertisement that I just mentioned. Here's a clip of it.
A floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
I will never forget what Donald Trump did. He abandoned the island and offered nothing more than paper towels and insults. Puerto Ricans deserve better. As president, I will always fight for you
this is all
and your
bullshit, by the way.
families.
Wait, did Trump bring Tony Hinchcliffe with him to call them trash while he was throwing them paper towels?
Yeah. That's exactly how it happened.
I don't remember.
Take these towels, you garbage.
And together, we can chart a new way forward.
So the
let's
other
go back.
component to all of this is
Let's go back.
You want to go back to the beginning of it?
I want to go back. No. I'm talking about. She said chart a new way forward. I'm like, no. Let's go back.
Every
Let's
time.
go back the way we came.
Every time they've been doing it a lot, and they did it at her rally tonight. Every time they chant, "We're not going back. We're not going back." I just think of you and me. Just we were getting the "We're not going back" chants going when we pretended
it's
to be
such
them.
a fun chant. We were so good for Kamala that day. You and I really probably did a lot of good for her campaign. And
That
we
rally
might
would have
be-
ended it 30 minutes earlier, at least, if not for the energy we brought to it.
Yeah,
for sure.
So we may tip the scales in her favor.
Absolutely. What if that's the difference? Is just a few boomer votes and they say, we weren't going to cast our votes till these
But
two.
Medieval Times came out.
The Medieval Times organization, a new journalist organization, came out and
they laughed,
filled
they
us-
giggled at
filled
that
us with
stupid
energy.
joke.
Yeah,
We're
they
the
did.
medieval times, because Trump is going to take us back to medieval times.
They also, if you're ever
And they
around a
all
group
laughed
of
at it.
if you're ever around a group of progressives and you want a surefire way to just make them laugh and love you, just make a JD Vance couch joke.
Oh yeah,
That's it. You got them. You got them.
yeah.
They love it. So, a couple more ads.
I like a sectional. I'm more of a
section-
sectional
right.
guy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Especially if it's
Don't give me that little
L-shaped,
love
then
seat.
There's a lot of creases there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can cheat on one crease with the other. Carlin and I think I told you about the election day training that the Department of Defense was going to be doing, the cybersecurity training.
Yes.
Well, they have canceled it, and I like to think it's because of the show that we did, and then Garland and I did to put focus on it. But the election day cybersecurity training that was going to be carried out by the AFI-CEA, which is I can't remember what the acronym means, but it's a military thing. It's going to be carried out by the 2024 Homeland Security and the Cyber and Infrastructure Conference, which was originally scheduled for November 5th, 6th, and 7th. And a pre-tabletop exercise, this is from them, during Election Day. It said a rapid and unanticipated rise in rhetoric and threats stemming from disinformation about the purpose of the event and its proximity to Election Day contributed to the decision to postpone. What disinformation, I wonder, are they talking about? Because all I saw, which was very few of us, was just highlighting the fact that they were doing a cybersecurity Election Day tabletop exercise with all of the intel agencies in Atlanta, the most explosive and controversial part of Atlanta when it comes to election integrity that has been the subject of conversation and conspiracy since 2020. We just pointed those facts out. And that the Cyber Security Infrastructure Agency is the one who declared the 2020 election the most secure in American history, which is the most unprovable claim and ridiculous thing ever.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Holding this cybersecurity exercise in Fulton County, a county whose government, for about 6 months of this year, their online systems haven't worked because they were hacked and captured by a cyber hacking group, and everything was down. Also, where Trump was indicted by Fani Willis, January, everything is in Fulton County. That happens. We were just pointing that out, but that's disinformation, apparently. And so they have decided out of an abundance of caution, and because a number of government agencies are unable to participate, we made this difficult decision so that we can deliver a high-quality and meaningful event with deep and rich engagement across industry, government, and academia, and full participation by all stakeholders. We apologize for the inconvenience and are exploring options to reschedule the event. Why schedule it on that day anyway, I would ask. We will reach out directly to all participants with details, including information about transferring existing exhibits, registrations, and sponsorships, and updates will be shared on the Atlanta chapter of the AFCEA and on whatever the FPC means, whatever that website is. Yeah, so they canceled it, which that's good.
Well, good.
I don't know that
do
that
we
means
really
anything.
know if they did cancel it? You know what I mean?
Or yeah, they made it made it live.
Yeah.
It's not canceled. We just made it a live exercise.
We just went and did it.
And on that same note, I talked last week about the ballot boxes. In fact, that was the title of one of the shows, the burning of the ballots. Well, there's been more burning of the ballot stories going around. I'll show you the headline. Did you see that?
Well, yeah, there was one in Clark, Washington, right?
Sure, yeah, Clark, Washington. I don't know where it was. I just saw that it was happening.
And I meant to look to see where Clark, Washington is.
So, yes, I love this headline from Newsweek. Ballot box fires across the U.S. spark alarm domestic terrorism. I actually said during our show that this will be the domestic terrorism. That if anybody tampers with ballot boxes at all, because in so many states it is a federal offense, that you will end up being January 6th. Don't burn ballots anyway, but it's probably a bunch of feds doing it undercover with could be red hats on, could be Kamala Walls hats on.
Why are we fucking mailing ballots in? This is the stupidest fucking argument in the world. It's so dumb. Why?
Right.
Honestly, it's the dumbest way to vote. It's the dumbest, absolute stupidest way to vote is to put your ballot in the mail. I mean, why?
Right.
Why would you do that?
No, especially when you are in a country where the swing state of Georgia, and I believe at least one other swing state, has been plagued with the USPS mail delay problem for over a year now.
Dude, it's insane. At my office, sometimes the mail doesn't show up for 4-5 days. And then when it does show up, it's not just my mail in my mailbox, but they've just said, fuck it. And they put everyone in the building's mail in my mailbox.
No, it's crazy, and it already has disenfranchised people who voted during the primary.
Right.
Who sent their vote in over a month ahead of time.
Let Amazon deliver the mail. They'll do a better job.
Well,
guarantee it.
you know, what's his name? In the Washington Post, they decided not to
I saw.
endorse someone. So, isn't that interesting? Not that the Washington Post isn't clearly biased. It's very, regardless of not endorsing, very clearly biased organization. But
Sure.
the fact that they didn't endorse somebody, that means they're like pro MAGA, which
They
is
are
interesting.
trying to, right? I know, but what all they're doing right now is trying to shore up whatever shred of credibility they still have left.
Right.
Nobody
I don't.
fucking
Yeah, it
cares.
doesn't give me any credibility.
When a friend
to
of
me.
mine posts, like when he tries to, like he posts something from
Yes.
the New York Times to sort of slam me, I'm like, dude, you might as well post something from the World Weekly News. This is fucking garbage. You know, it's like posting like Bat Boy Lives. It doesn't fucking mean anything to me.
Right. Yeah. And you know, to close out today, it's gonna be a shorter show tonight. There was another ad, a billboard that said, apparently it said, a billboard showing Kamala Harris engaging in sex act erected by a pro-Trump company in Ohio.
No pun intended.
Pun definitely intended. The advertising agency said the billboard was immediately removed once it was brought to their attention.
Yeah.
And I guess this is the billboard here.
Look at that. That's so funny.
Yeah, so you have Trump on the left of this billboard. So I can make this bigger. There it is. It's a little bigger. Trump on the left saying, in reality, they're not after me, they're after you. I'm just in the way. And then they have on the right, not Kamala Harris, but somebody who looks like Kamala Harris. It says, Kamala can't talk right now. She's had a baby shower. and it looks like she's on her knees looking up with her tongue out. It's the baby shower. And the best part, perhaps, is the Millennium Styles, your hair cellular special? What is that? Your hair color specialist, millenniumstyles.net, who gets the biggest billboard right above that one. So possibly, maybe they're the ones responsible for the ad, because those girls' hair do look
That's
great.
nice. And I mean, if you're a hairstylist pulling out a billboard, you got some money.
Definitely. So, yeah. Well, I don't know. Trump's a Nazi or Kamala's at a baby shower.
He's the funniest Hitler ever.
Right. And maybe Hitler was funny. Maybe they're going to start releasing clips of here's Hitler doing stand-up comedy, and he'll be hilarious.
Hitler!
And, you know, Hitler's, I don't know what his jokes would be about, but maybe you know, that's just going to be the circle that fully wraps that people say they liked him. They liked him. Yeah. They like Trump because he's funny. Well, guess what? Hitler was funny.
See, that's the thing. Hitler wasn't funny, and he wasn't even elected. Nobody voted ever for Hitler. There was not a single vote for him.
Well,
Never happened.
he was elected as a lower officer.
He was appointed eventually to power, and then basically held a coup. He did not. He was not elected to rule all of Germany. He stole it.
Oh, he stole it.
Yeah, he stole it.
He stole the election. He stole it?
He stole that election.
He stole that election, Hitler did.
He stole that election.
It gets to a point, you know, the name-calling stuff in propaganda, that's as old as time. You know, you go back and you look at elections from the 1800s, and they're calling each other's wives whores, and they're just as dirty as they are now, but the speech didn't travel as quickly and reach as many people as quickly as it does now. But now, you know, you call somebody's wife a whore or call somebody Hitler, whole world hears it in an instance. So when does it wear down? When do they realize, you know, maybe we should stop the same attacks? Maybe there's an effectiveness level that I'm unaware of, but I don't know.
Well, they say that the polling is conflicted because they'll poll people and people will say, no, we don't like negative. Right. We don't like negative political ads. Right. And then they put negative ones and positive ones side by side, and no one ever responds to the positive ones.
Right. Because fear is a bigger motivator than joy. Yes. So. Insightful and amusing show, Mr. Blastoff and Ian. Thank you very much, Groby. We appreciate it. And Ian, is there anything you would need parting words on 2 days before Halloween and 1 week before the election that you would like to give everyone?
Everyone, make the worst choice possible with your Halloween costume. Get out there, ruin your life. Just go crazy. maybe someone can come up with like a garbage bag and just put Puerto Rico on the front of it or something. You know what I'm saying? Like get out there and go nuts.
Just don't
Have a
ruin
good-
your life. Have fun.
Have a
with it.
well, no, ruin. Well, yeah, have fun and make a liberal real mad. Whatever makes a progressive or a liberal mad, that should be everything you do for the next week.
Whatever you enjoy for yourself, it makes you feel good, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else.
That's
Emotionally, if you want to tick people off,
I
that's
mean,
fine.
if you want to make AOC cry, go ahead.
I hear people saying AOC might be pregnant. I don't know if they're trying to. If that's a sideways way
I
of
think she's
calling
gonna
her.
wait till the last minute. I think she'll wait till the last minute to get rid of it.
She just wants to wait. Yeah, she just wants to wait. I think people were calling her fat. I didn't think she seemed fat. I thought I was like, is she glowing? What is it? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe
she likes that gingerbread.
I'd like to announce that AOC and I are having a baby. that would be breaking news. Yes. All right. Melania's upset. All right.
All right.
Jake says they just want an excuse to look at her boobs. And
Very
don't we
true.
all? Don't we all? Those are some liberal boobs I don't mind taking a look at. I'm going to be honest with you. We will talk to you guys next time. Thank you, Ian. Thank you guys in the chat
Yeah.
for hanging out. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day.